So away your business and get ready for life. It's time for free candy and band call. It's time for two clueless dudes.
Woo. Welcome. It's Wednesday. It's Two Clueless Dudes.
TCD, dude! Man, and what a wild and wacky week it has been. So much going on in the world of the web. We've got a great special guest. The Gypsy Witch Paranormal ladies will be on to talk about their experiences that they just had in Deadwood. We should probably invite them, though. That probably would be... they probably won't be on until about 5:30ish. So we'll kind of get through our normal stuff first, and then hopefully they'll join us after that. I'm going to copy, and then I'm going to go ahead and get them sent over while he kind of gives you a rundown.
Rundown of who?
Just a rundown.
Let's run it. Where do you want to run to? You just came back from an exciting trip.
I did.
Nothing really happened to me except been going to the gym. That's about it. That's the rundown.
This is paste. Aha. Boom. And I think if someone to charity. Boom.
Such a catchy tune.
That we can thank Waz, our old producer, for that bad boy. He kind of helped us get that kind of set up and ready, which was pretty awesome of him. I'm going to go ahead and share our feed. Make sure we got everything already ready. Alrighty. Okay, so yes, we will have Gypsy Witch Paranormal on in about 30 minutes or so.
Nice.
While we wait for them, what we will do is, we'll talk a little bit about what just happened. I went to Virginia City for ConCon 6, which is just a real awesome paranormal get-together by Soul Circle Paranormal. Shane Pittman from The Searchers, he was there. Aaron Sagers. He was the host for 28 Days Haunted.
Oh, okay.
The guy that was in a really cool leather jacket who looked over everything and talked like this.
So that was the son-in-law of the Warrens.
Oh, he's the son-in-law of the Warrens? Oh, I didn't know that. I don't know if that's... So I made... well, we're going to find out. It's... So you've heard of a White Russian? So I made a brown Yugoslavian. I don't know if that's a thing, but it is now. So this is salted caramel Kahlua with chocolate Baileys and a caramel creamer. So hopefully it didn't. That's good as fuck. That's
pretty good. What did you call this?
A brown Yugoslavian. So try a brown Yugoslavian, folks.
Yeah, look it up.
That's right. If it's brown, it's going down. Don't say that to anybody.
Yeah. That's not always the case.
Yeah, don't say that. Okay, so let's get into some celebrity news before we do anything else.
All right.
Have you heard about Will Smith?
Yes.
Both, two things. Doof! Miss Karen, how are you? So Will Smith apparently, one, has an itty bitty pee-pee.
Okay.
That has been revealed. And also, his best friend claims he was caught with another dude getting pounded in the round brown mound.
Yes. That's what is all over TMZ and everything else.
And now he's come out and denied said allegations.
Yeah, Jada has said some stuff to the allegations too, but where does she hold any water?
But that's the thing. Like,
you know what I mean?
I feel like let me just say this: if Will Smith was getting pounded in the round mound, I honestly wouldn't care. It's still Will Smith.
Right. I'm more
concerned
about that than all of the Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift news.
Oh my God, that's just
like,
awful.
I can't believe that this is still a thing.
I'm more concerned that he has a little pee-pee than that.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? That's a bummer. I feel for you, dog. As far as so she's a billionaire now. I don't know if you know that. So Taylor Swift is now officially a billionaire, right?
Yes.
He's only worth like 30 mil, only 30 million. But
Will Smith is only worth 30 million?
No, not Travis Kelce.
Okay.
What's the most interesting about this is all the people that hate billionaires love Taylor Swift.
Everybody's a Swiftie. Right?
So, yeah. So, like, do they now have to like all billionaires?
No,
like,
absolutely not. You definitely pick and choose in your billionaire circle.
I was saying, how does that work? Because, like, can you be like, fuck you, Bezos, but I love you, Taylor Swift?
I don't know. I mean, Taylor just bought an island.
Yeah.
I mean, Travis Kelce's on the up and up on buying properties. I would stop.
He's got enough money to buy like a really nice sweater.
Yeah, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Like he's not even in the same ballpark as Taylor Swift. So I would probably stop trying to buy stuff when she's buying stuff because you're just going to look like you're not going to be able to keep up.
Right. And like, what is he going to do? What do you do for like Christmas?
Right.
She's got $1 billion fucking dollars, dude. What are you going to get her?
Yeah, nothing.
You're not going to surprise. You can't impress her with anything.
Yeah. Not with 30 million.
No. The best thing you're going to be able to do is, I don't know.
A ham. And hopefully your ham's bigger than Will Smith's.
Eat a handful of sprinkles and shit out a Christmas turd.
Something.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what you do in that situation. Because
it would be kind of a
she's not in it for the money. Well, that is true. You can't even imagine having 1 million. That's a lot of money. Yeah, for sure. So yeah, boy, I can't. What up, Trevor? Yeah, she better not marry this dude. He is like human garbage. He's human filth. If you had seen some of the stuff that he did earlier in his life, you would be like, there's absolutely no way Taylor Swift has already shown she has bad taste in men. Okay?
She's wrote albums.
She's wrote albums about this shit. If she likes somebody, the very first thing she should do is stop.
Yeah.
And find somebody else immediately.
She's saying this is the one. She changed the lyrics to her song, right?
Right.
To make him fit in.
I guess.
And I don't know. Yikes.
I just don't know, man. I just don't know. I'm just enjoying my brown Yugoslavian.
It's just setting it up for a whole train wreck, I think. But
Ronnie Baker says it will not last. Well, I would say to all the Swiftie fans out there, you better hope it doesn't, because if it doesn't, that means she'll release another multi-diamond album.
Yeah, she's going to add 6 to 10 more trucks to her production.
Yeah, and if it does last, then she'll probably gain like 30 pounds.
I don't know, how old is Taylor Swift now?
She's got to be ready to have a baby.
Travis may help her.
Yeah, she's got to be like in her mid 30s, I would say. Meghan Trainor's had like 2 kids. She's been blasting them out.
Yeah.
So good for her. Good for her.
Good for you. Doing the internal exercises in the bedroom.
And then she's 34. Joe says she's 34. So yeah, she's still pretty. That's still pretty young. I'm of the 4.0. You're what, 4.2?
4.2.
Whoop whoop.
None for me. I'm done.
And then I think Will Smith is 4 centimeters. We do have some great stuff to get to on. Let's see. What did you pull up for me here? What do you got for me? Let's take a look here. You just sent me some stuff. Okay, let me go ahead and we'll start here. Let me get to the share. All right, guys, here we go.
All right.
We
got some fancy, some Craigslist here.
Sure.
First one we got is free spices.
Free spices.
Food kitchen, but nothing. Buy nothing. I just messed up my screen.
Oh man.
I don't eat meat, and I've never found a use for these. They're expired, but they're spices, so they're probably fine. Free to pick up in Glendale Heights. Now, the funny thing is, like, you won't do any kind of leftovers, like, whatsoever.
Period.
None, zero, zilch. It's like,
Don't do it.
We've gone to, like, game day and got snacks that expired on that day. And you're like, yeah, no.
Yeah, can't do it.
Could you imagine, like, 10, 15-year-olds, like, I don't know, maybe spices don't go bad?
They have to.
But, like,
Becky!
Like,
Hank is old. That is true.
Getting there.
Yeah.
Definitely getting there. The one that worries me the most is probably the gravy.
Yeah, I just don't.
Like, that could be.
It's a powdered gravy, right?
Yeah.
I just don't know, man. All that, anything like that, like, okay. So you know Brent.
Yes.
Brent used to live with Billy, way back in the day.
Okay.
And when Brent finally moved out and bought the place that he's in now, we had to clean out his refrigerator. We found a jar of mayonnaise that had turned green.
Okay.
That had expired 4 years prior.
All right.
So this mayonnaise had expired 4 years ago, and he just forgotten about it.
That's impressive.
And like, if you go into like Brent's house now, like half of his food, no, I would say about 75% of most of his food is actually expired. All right. Including his frozen foods. And he still eats them. Like, I don't know how people do that. I don't know how you guys eat leftovers, man. I don't get
Pizza's good days after. It's cool.
See, I can't.
It's even better leftover.
1 hour. I give food 1 hour. After that, it's done.
Toasts.
Done. I can't do it anymore.
I got you. All right, hit me with the next one.
Okay.
You tell me what's wrong with this next one.
Hit me with your best shot.
This is an American Standard toilet, working toilet. Don't want to store any longer in the alley. Blah, blah, blah.
It's just chilling in the alley?
It's just in the alley. Now, is there something wrong with that? Maybe like a bowl missing? It's not a urinal.
That is so weird. Oh, is that the back, maybe? I think he just put, for his front picture, he put the back of the toilet.
Oh, he did.
So there is more to this toilet, but it's still just in the alley. He's just been keeping it in the alley.
Now, what would happen if somebody was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and deliver a deuce to this toilet in the alley"? That'd be bad, right?
It would be bad, but appropriate. It's a toilet. That's what you do. You left it there, bro.
It's true.
You know what I mean? That's on the owner of this toilet. You left it there for somebody to poop in. And if I got to go, I'm going to see that as, oh, wow, this guy's being super cool and he's going to let me poop in this toilet.
Now, I wonder, could you get in trouble for pooping in that said toilet in the alley? Because for it to be a crime, there's got to be intent. And if you're not trying to, like, show your business, you're just trying to go poo-poo, right?
Right, yeah. I mean, you sat on the toilet and you pooped. And the toilet was there for you to poop in. The person who would get in trouble would be the owner of the toilet. Because the person pooping had a perfectly good toilet to poop in. Sure, it doesn't have any plumbing, but back in like medieval days, they didn't have plumbing either, and people still pooped.
That's true. They pooped off the side of the building.
People be pooping.
All right, this next one's kind of similar, but just different.
Whoa.
Could you imagine taking a poop on Mr. 1950 here?
Wow. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of like the old Cadillac Eldorado of toilets.
Yes. And the sink. The next one is the sink that goes with it. Feel free to go ahead and...
Can I click on it?
Yeah. No.
The next picture?
Next picture. That's its buddy.
But I'm going to say this is I'm not going to lie, this kind of looks like a smooth ride.
I'm telling you, you know what? It probably was smooth, but even in Frank Sinatra's day, that's a terrible shitter, buddy.
I mean, it's really low.
Very low.
Like you can't.
Could you imagine doing leg day and trying to sit and try to get off that?
And you see how there's like not a lot of back? Because sometimes like when I'm shitting, I like to relax. You know what I mean? I like to relax when I'm shitting. And this one, there's no back support.
It's true.
So you can't be shitting and relax. You'll slip right off.
Plus, you'll be right back in the 1950s if you do.
You really would be. Yeah. Now,
That's impressive.
I keep doing. So with this,
you see the gold?
I do like the gold.
Oh man, that's terrible.
You don't like that?
Oh, that's terrible. That's god awful.
See, I feel rich.
Oh no.
I feel rich and fancy. Ironically, this is like, I don't know what color this is. Pepto.
Yes, I would say Pepto is probably a good
refrigerator box you could turn into a porta potty. Ooh, there you go. It looks. I think that's the color of Pepto, or like calamine lotion.
Yeah, you shouldn't be giving this away. Obviously, they're
Well,
not wanting for money on this.
What's interesting is it's Kohler. Kohler's that's fancy stuff, man.
Yeah.
Oh, look, it even had a bath. Did it ever come with a bathtub too?
It probably did.
Kohler tub, pedestal sink, and toilet. You could get the whole package, the whole 9 yards.
That's impressive, isn't it?
This brown Yugoslavian is it's simply wonderful.
It's good.
It is
nice,
simply
rich,
wonderful.
chocolatey.
So, anybody wondering what a brown Yugoslavian is, those who are just joining us, I mixed salted caramel Kahlua with Bailey's chocolate and a oat milk caramel creamer to create, instead of a White Russian, a brown Yugoslavian. You heard it here first, folks.
All right. Last but not least, AMC movie theater seats. I have a stack of movie theater seats I was going to use for a home theater. Never used them. They've been sitting so I can use a thorough cleaning. I'm tired of them being in the way. Enough arms, bottoms, blacks, blah, 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 blah.
You make 7 to 8 seats with no hardware.
Right.
The fuck does that mean? Like no screws?
No screws, no nothing.
They're old-ass AMC seats.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody liked to sit in those seats to begin with.
Terrible and uncomfortable to begin with. Which is why I only go to Century.
And
if I go at all.
If you ever go. This, no way can goes to landfill next weekend.
Could you imagine trying to get you and your buddies to install that in your wherever the hell you're going to install that?
God, I mean, there's just so many other options.
Yeah.
Like
beanbag chairs.
Beanbag chairs. You could, I mean, comparative to an AMC movie theater seat, I'd probably rather sit on a dildo.
Yeah, it's not.
Will Smith would.
Yeah, he probably does.
Who knows? That
wouldn't be comfy at all.
Not at all. Not at all.
You couldn't pay me to take that.
Mm-mm. Michelle, I sent you your thing, your link, and I sent one to Charity. Charity, did I say that right? To her as well. So you guys can hop in whenever you're ready. No rush. We've got some more we can get to, but yes, vintage Maryland vintage. That I absolutely agree with. I do have some more here. Okay, let me close this one down. And let me get to Boom Boom Pow. How do I do this again? Boom. Okay, so here you go. Ironically enough, you had a toilet. I happen to have a toilet too.
Things that get shitty.
So this is what is. There's Michelle. Okay, I'll give you a second. I'll give you a minute. So before we get to Michelle and Gypsy Witch Paranormal, this is a toilet.
Compost toilet?
So this is on an RV. Now, what's really interesting about this RV is, one, he's selling it for only $2,000. Two, this RV was allegedly made in 1901.
Nice.
I don't know about you.
Yeah, probably not 1901.
But this was definitely not made in 1901.
Yeah.
So that's wrong.
Liar.
Liar. Two, if you look at this photo, if you really look at it, there is a tube of Fixodent next to the toilet. Why you're brushing your teeth and shitting on this at the exact same time? Stand up and brush your teeth like a real person.
I guess, yeah.
You know what I mean? Don't shit and brush your teeth. That's gross. And I like how the toilet has like little pedals.
Yeah.
What the fuck do the pedals do?
Flushes, buddy.
Oh, is that what that is? Boy, this thing is a hot mess. I don't even know what that must be where you do all of the, I don't know. That's just like the creepy spot.
Yeah.
That's where you rub lotion on your skin.
Somebody's skin.
Holy mother.
Is that a tub?
Yes, that is a tub that is well used, I would say.
Goodness.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Like clean it up, man. Like you can't even like just clean it. God, Jesus. It looks like he massacred porcupines in there.
Yeah,
like you couldn't even get the dishes out.
That's true.
Like how hard was it? And is that a sock? This dude's got a toaster oven. He's got a heat lamp plugged in, and a sock. Oh God, I don't even know what's happening back there. Woo!
Yikes. Oh, damn. What is that? Is that a table in the chair?
Yeah, and I don't know what he's got on the table. It looks like an electronic turkey baster.
Yeah.
That's fucking weird. This could be yours, folks, for $2,000 in Enigma, Georgia. And it is an Enigma. Look at that bad boy.
Look at that fancy 1901 right
1901. There. Woo!
That's bad. That's a bad boy.
That's a bad. Oh, I think we actually got. Oh, okay. We have Michelle, so Michelle's ready. Let's go ahead and get to her. I'm gonna stop sharing this. Oh, it's fix it. It's for that's right. So it's not toothpaste. It's for your dentures. So somebody was shitting and putting their teeth in at the same time.
Maybe they were putting it on their ass that way they didn't slide off the RV was underway.
Maybe because I would hate to think like you wiped and then.
Oops.
Yeah, that would not.
That one-ply toilet paper ain't gonna do no good. Hey, how are you?
Hello. Can you see me?
We see you.
We see you. Is she stuck? Are you stuck?
Not if you are.
And she's gone. Oh, she's back. Let's try again. Hey!
Either my ghost is fucking with the connection or it's just bad.
Yeah, I just thought you were trying to give us like resting bitch face for a second. I was like, damn.
That's my normal mode, so it wouldn't be trying to give it to you. It's just how it goes.
Scott, what up, dude? So,
how are you guys?
We're just enjoying
fantastic.
our brown Yugoslavians. They're fantastic.
Highly recommend one.
Yes.
What in the world is that?
So you had a White Russian, right? Which is Kahlua, vodka, and creamer. So this is Kahlua salted caramel.
Okay.
It is a chocolate Bailey's, and it is a caramel oat milk creamer.
Huh. That sounds pretty good, actually.
I call it the brown Yugoslavian because why not? It's not quite a White Russian.
Sounds pretty good.
It is delicious.
It's not bad at all.
So
you just got back from Deadwood as well, huh?
Yeah, so Charity and I went back out to Deadwood and we decided to check out, there's a really cool little inn that is run by the Deadwood Historical Society called the 1899 Inn. And so the basic story behind this is a gentleman came to Deadwood, built a small house for him and his family on a small piece of property he had, started doing business during the gold rush, got very wealthy, and chose to buy a larger piece of property, which is kind of a little bit above Deadwood. It's not much. You guys remember going up Cemetery Lane?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's literally right down the hill from Mount Moriah Cemetery.
Oh, okay.
So he bought this little piece of property, and then in the process of buying this little piece of property, he put his old original house behind this beautiful brand new home that he built with the most expensive stained glass, pieces of wood, anything that he could get.
Wow.
So like he physically moved his house?
Yeah, they physically moved the original house. So it's actually behind the inn. So the original home that he lived in is behind the inn, and the inn changed hands and became different things over time.
But it's not in the inn, it's out of the inn.
It's out of the inn, in the back of the inn.
In the back. It's in the back of the out of the inn.
Correct.
But it's on. Okay.
Yes, that's
Okay.
correct.
Okay.
So he lived in there for a while before he
Who
passed
is
away.
he? Do you have his name?
Oh
Brian
my goodness.
Tarkleton?
I cannot remember his name off the top of my head. See, this is why I need Charity. She's my history person. She
We're
has it all.
We're gonna name him Franz Chognuts.
Sure, whatever you want.
Okay, so Franz has this property. He was a businessman. Franz got rich on his business during the gold rush. Franz moves his house to a new property behind a property that he builds with stained glass, very fancy.
Yes.
Good for Franz. What happens to Franz now?
So
Is Franz married?
After he passes away, his wife continues to own the home.
Okay.
And she turns it into basically like a boarding house because it's such a big house, and she's also got the house that they originally lived in, which they've now used as a cottage.
Okay.
So
it
becomes a boarding home for a couple years.
Like she sold boards out of the home?
No, Mike. She lets people stay in the house that need a place to stay.
Nice. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense.
What's really kind of interesting that we didn't realize was the case is there's a gentleman in South Dakota. If you go to the old courthouse museum in Sioux Falls, where Charity and I are from, there's a plaque outside for a man that was an innocent man that was hung. And so this gentleman was accused of killing his wife, didn't kill his wife, kept insisting he didn't kill his wife, was hung for doing it, and then his stepdaughter on her deathbed admits that she murdered her own mother.
Damn.
And allowed her stepdad to be hung for it.
Wow.
You know who else wasn't hung?
Will Smith.
Jesus.
So
Franz,
how did Franz die? Do you know how Franz died?
He just died of old age.
Oh, really? Oh, so he just got old. Okay. Is he in that cemetery?
He is. I don't think he's buried in Mount Moriah. I think he got buried in another location.
What a bitch, yeah.
Mount Moriah, the original cemetery for that all of the bodies got moved, that were the original cemetery for Deadwood to Mount Moriah, is actually just right up the street from the inn that we were at. Wow. So Charity and I walked right up to it. There's a house currently on that property sitting directly on top of where the cemetery was. There's a plaque on the retaining wall that just gives you the history of that. But in 2012, they had to redo their retaining wall and dug up another body. They're still digging up bodies in this area because there were a lot of unmarked graves in the original cemetery. Wow. And this guy, they had every part of his skeleton except for his pinky toe and a small finger bone.
Weird.
And they couldn't identify who he was because he had no gravestone, but they did a whole bunch of forensic science on him and actually went through that process and found out he was probably about 29 years old when he was killed.
Well, that was
probably fairly wealthy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we learned the history with the house. If you go to the attic floor, which they turn the attic into spaces that people can stay because it is a bed and breakfast. So they kind of renovated that whole space. They brought a lot of the old history and charm back to the house that had gotten taken out of it when the house kind of went into deterioration over the years. And the current owner, it was her son and his wife that originally bought the house and then had their parents take it from them to be a B&B. So there's a room up there that's called the music room, which currently has space for someone to stay in. But the children would apparently go up to the attic and could see where they would hang people for Deadwood criminals directly from that window up the hill.
Wow. That's crazy.
So it turns out that when he bought this land, built the home, moved his other home onto this place where his other home is, it was an old cemetery.
It was right down the street from the old cemetery, but they said they wouldn't be surprised if there's their bodies underneath that property as well.
Wow. So are there? So I guess are there hauntings at the
There,
1899?
there are. So one of the things they put on their website that we find super fascinating is that they say they have ghosts if you like ghosts, and if you don't like ghosts, they don't. So they try and cater to everybody there. But for us, the whole purpose was to find out what spirits were there and to have those experiences and those opportunities. So it was a group of 21 people. Did
you get to talk to the ghost of Tozy Pinkerton?
No, we did not.
Okay.
It was very interesting. Charity doesn't get these experiences as much as me, but a lot of times when I walk into a space, I can tell whether I'm walking into a space that's got energy in it or it doesn't. It kind of feels like a wall that you walk through. Right. And so we had gotten assigned to the left side of the cabin, the cottage that was in the back.
Okay.
And as soon as we opened the door and walked in, it felt like I got hit by a semi truck. And then had to walk my way through the house, and me being the crazy person found the bedroom in the back where I was like, this is where we need to stay. It's the most active room.
Nice.
So Charity thought I was a little nuts for that, but it is what it is. She understands how I function now.
Did you use any equipment?
Possibly we did. So
paranormal?
We brought all of our equipment, and we did bring our Searchers UFO.
Nice.
So we did bring that with us. We didn't get any activity on the Searchers UFO. We actually got more activity. The dowsing rods that I use, the LED ones, I get a lot of activity on those, but that's because they're simple. Yeah. They don't have to do a lot to activate those. They just kind of have to touch them and then they move. So I think that their use of energy to move those is much simpler than having to light something up. The first
dowsing rod technology is relatively, old. So they would be more familiar with, I would assume.
Oh, absolutely. And so we split up into 3 groups. And in the 3 groups that we were in, we actually did some investigation with 2 people from Black Hills Paranormal.
Oh, cool.
So they came out, which was really cool. They have a relationship with Danny Joe, who is their psychic on their team. And
when you say they came out, you don't mean like of the closet type deal?
No. Okay. What was interesting for me is that using equipment validates a lot of what I hear, which is starting to get a little strange for me to realize that I can hear and understand things before I actually use equipment. I actually had 2 pieces of equipment validate everything that I heard back to back. But one of the Black Hills Paranormal individuals that was in our group the first night, he also gets a lot of downloads, messages, and can feel and interact with spirits in many ways. And we were actually answering each other's questions. So it was a very interesting kind of playoff that we did, but we used Charity Spirit Chat. We got a lot of information on that. We kept getting something about fire. We kept getting something about smelling a burning smell, which would make sense with the 3 major fires that happened in Deadwood and how close that house is to there. It would kind of make sense that someone could see or smell fire.
And with that house, that they never caught fire, right?
That house never caught fire. No.
Okay.
No. They were lucky enough to not, but a lot of surrounding area of Deadwood in the last fire that they had got caught up in it. Not Deadwood, the main city, but mostly the outskirts.
And I absolutely agree. We got to go back to Deadwood. The place is amazing.
Yes, you guys need to come back to Deadwood. There's a lot of history in Deadwood, and I'm still learning. Charity's been going to Deadwood and spending time in Deadwood for a very long time. So for me, she's kind of teaching me a lot of stuff. But we also kept getting messages about twins.
Really?
A boy and a girl. And so we kept hearing twins. And this was actually before we were given the history on the house. Now, Charity is a research buff. She did a lot of research before we went. She gave me a few pieces of information, but not everything, because she seems to want to play this game where she wants to see how much I pick up on before she tells me whether I'm right or not.
Nice.
And we kept getting messages about a boy and a girl, and they were twins, and found out that they had twins, a boy and a girl.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Yes.
Well, the only twins that I know of were Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito.
And they look nothing alike.
And they didn't look anything like that.
Yeah, I hear you, Kim. I see that. Love the tests. Yes.
So that should be validating, because it's kind of like, treating you like Cindy Kaza from the Holzer Files. She doesn't get any information, and she goes and feels it out, and next thing you know, they're investigating.
It is. And what's been interesting for me is the getting validation of things. One of the questions we got asked by the owner when she was giving us the history of the house, she actually has an old clock from that gentleman that was hung for murdering his wife in her house. It was given to her as an artifact from the young, someone who's related to that family actually stayed there. And so told about that history. So, when she was talking to the group, she said, "What object in the house do you think was given to us that belongs to this gentleman?" And I turned and looked directly at the clock. I wasn't really trying to look at anything specific. And I said, "It must be the clock."
Wow. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's impressive.
So it's been an interesting experience exploring that, but also, like, I love playing with equipment. The equipment is fun. We had someone that had a REM pod that went bonkers on the second night. It was probably the most active I've ever seen a REM pod. We were getting validating responses from the REM pod to the point that we actually had to turn the REM pod off because the spirit would not stop interacting with it.
Wow.
Interesting. Now, was it interacting and answering yes and no questions to the REM pod, or was it just playing with the REM pod in general?
So it was answering yes and no questions. We were asking about if they were happy we were investigating. We were asking them to light up all the lights on the REM pod at the same time so that it was able to actually light up all of the lights on the REM pod when we asked it to. We also had some of the cat balls, which are like a super easy paranormal piece of equipment to use. And there was a lot of playing with those as well, a lot of interacting with them, causing them to light up. We did see a little boy. There's apparently a little boy that is not one of the twins that stays in their library room, which is a place for folks to stay, but it's got a whole bunch of like law books and stuff in it.
Reads the Goosebumps. I get it.
He likes to hide under the bed. And so someone was experimenting with a flashlight, turning it on and off to answer questions. And they were actually getting responses with the flashlight, which was a neat experiment to see because I've never actually seen that. You'll see people do it on TV, but actually getting the chance to be in the same space and watch someone do it and see active responses was really cool. The upstairs floor, the attic floor of that building, I don't know who designed this bathroom. Their brain wasn't functioning appropriately. It's a beautiful bathroom, massive walk-in shower, clawfoot tub, and 2 mirrors that face each other.
Nice.
Whoa.
And so I immediately walked in that room and went, wow, if anybody ever wanted to open a portal, here's the right way to do it.
My grandma in my ancestral home, the second you walk through the doors, and this house was built in the 50s, it had 6-foot tall mirrors, about 2 foot tall wide on each side, and there was 5 of them.
Oh my God.
Oh
my God.
Yeah, it was. I used to love playing in front of it as a kid, but yeah, very trippy.
Yeah, actually, I had the most interesting experience in that. So when our group went up in there on the first night, I kept getting pinged to go sit in the bathtub,
Michelle, what up?
and it's
Other Michelle.
between the two mirrors. So I decided to just sit in it because I kept getting pinged to do it.
Sure.
And something ran its finger down the back of my neck. So that was the first experience.
And did it whisper like, taste the rainbow?
No, absolutely not. And if it did, I don't know if I would have stayed very long.
I don't want to taste the rainbow.
And so there was only one other person with me. She was actually sitting in the shower, which was pretty far away, and was
it on?
It was not on. No,
Okay.
we did not turn the shower on. No. But I tried to do a little bit of sensory deprivation because everybody else was in the other room. So I was like, whatever, I'll try it. I've never done it before, and let's see what happens. And I closed my eyes, kind of quieted it down, tried to ignore what everybody else was doing. And I kept getting more and more uncomfortable as I was doing that.
Sure.
And as the other woman was in the room with me, she sat down next to the tub and she said, "Hey, are you doing okay?" And I said, "I'm fine." And then I heard, "Portal is open." And I looked over the edge of the tub and said, "Get out now."
That's crazy.
And so one of the Black Hills paranormal investigators actually walked into the one that he and I were answering each other's questions, walked into the bathroom after I walked out, stood by the tub and went, "I feel like I need to climb in the tub." And I said, no, don't do that.
Annie, what's going on? Yeah, that's
So do you believe that maybe since you're kind of sensitive to this kind of thing, do you think that maybe there was some, I'm not saying it right, psychometry?
I know what you're trying to say.
Reading of the, I guess maybe the energy of the
tub.
Maybe something happened in the tub.
Like, were you sensing the emotion of the bath scum?
Wow. I didn't know bath scum could have emotion.
You're the one who felt it.
I think that's a possibility, actually. Charity it looked like the tub wasn't original to the house. It was definitely newer, but we're not exactly sure where it came from. We know that a lot of the stuff that they had in there, the older furniture, they've just collected over the years. Charity kept getting the sensation that the tub wasn't original to that and that something had happened in there. And strangely enough, it felt like someone was trying to push me down and drown me in it a couple times.
Wow.
There was like physical force against my shoulders. So I wouldn't be surprised if there was something else going on, with that particular tub. We don't know where it came from. We kept getting a response that there was a psychiatric nurse that was in the room with us. Charity got this response 3 separate times on a piece of equipment that's never said it before.
So do you feel like, I'm going to go a little general here, compared to like the Bullock Hotel or the Fairmont, how was it activity level wise?
This was, I would say that there was a lot of activity when it involved equipment. There was more interaction with equipment that happened in this space.
Yeah.
I feel like there were a lot of things felt in the Bullock, like when Charity, when our group was in there was a lot of felt in there, but you guys were getting a lot more doing the Estes method, a lot more information than some of the equipment was. So in the 1899 inn, there was a lot of equipment activity. Equipment was playing off of each other. We had a grid that kept sensing 200 separate events of something walking through it multiple times that was cold in temperature. So
Did you do the Estes method in 1899?
As far as we didn't do the full Estes. We did some work with the recorder and, listening to using headphones to try and block everything else out so that you couldn't hear the questions that other people were asking. I do have to say that when you are with a group of people, they were great people, but a lot of their experience being there, Danny's what she does professionally, what she feels her like mission, her purpose is very different. Um, you know, Charity and I are there to investigate and see if there are spirits and to get that kind of information. Um, Danny said one of the things that she dislikes the most is actually paranormal investigations.
Really?
It's one of the things she doesn't enjoy. But she feels that she is drawn and that she should be the one to help spirits pass on. So she kind of feels like that is her purpose or her intention for using her gift in these moments. And so it's funny to be the people that are wanting to have these experiences and really like say like this would be a cool opportunity for other people to do, while being in a group of individuals that are a little more on the lines of we need to clear the spirits out of here because of the energy and the place needs to be perfect. So it's just a very different part of the paranormal community, and it taught Charity and I, number one, a lot about, for me, realizing what I'm capable of and that this stuff just keeps growing and there's probably not a whole lot that's going to change about that. It's just going to keep going as long as I let it go.
And you used a recorder.
Huh?
And you used a recorder.
Yes. Yes.
I can only do Mary Had a Little Lamb on one when I was in elementary school. So. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, there were definitely a lot of like really neat, new, different experiences. And doing those experiences with different people is good too, because everybody can sometimes get a different experience. We actually had a younger girl that was with us for this, and this wasn't like a terrifying haunting. It wasn't like a bad haunting. It was just literally just spirits existing in the space. And for her, she just really wanted this experience. Her mom promised her she would take her. Like, it was kind of really cute, and she was really like a good upbeat part of it. But the spirits that were children felt better interacting with us in our group because she was in our group. There was more children spirit interaction with us. So you kind of play off of that too. You know, she's a young girl. She's a child, so they would feel more comfortable with a child potentially than an adult.
Sure. Well, it's interesting what you said about the lady that kind of feels like it's her mission to help, you know, these spirits pass on, you know, with Hans Holzer using Sibylline and Ethel Myers. Like, their big thing was to make for sure that if they could help the spirits pass on, they would. But you really don't see or hear much about that in the paranormal, I guess, world. Currently, there's nobody that's actively trying to do that and make it be known. Do you feel like when you go on some of these that you're obligated to try to help somebody pass or move on?
Yeah, it's interesting that there are some people that apparently do feel that way, and do feel like that is a big part of their mission, like that they feel like maybe these individuals are trapped. I wouldn't necessarily say that I think all spirits are trapped. I think it depends on your spirit. Just from my experience, I actually have a spirit that lives in my house. It is known that he lives here. I don't think that he wants to pass on. It doesn't seem like a thing that he wants. He just exists in the space. So I don't know, you know, if it's a memory that's good for him to exist here. If he doesn't do a whole lot in my home, every now and then he gets salty and does something stupid. But huh?
Most of us men do ignorant stuff from time to time, so I get it.
Yeah.
Why should the afterlife be any different?
It's interesting living with a male spirit. It's just about living with a guy.
Well, that and if we helped every spirit pass on, a lot of paranormal investigators would be out of work.
Yeah, I think the biggest challenge that Charity and I faced was like this concept of, well, they felt like our room in the cottage on our side of the cottage, they felt like there was a portal that actually stretched from our room to the other side, which wouldn't surprise me. The energy was definitely significant. In fact, Charity had the door yanked out of her hand and almost slammed on her in the middle of the night. All I heard was her yelling, "Stupid door," at 3:00 in the morning.
That's interesting.
But, you know, they felt like there was a portal back there and they felt like they needed to close it and that it was their responsibility to do that as well. And I know there's a lot of talk about
paranormal.
Yeah, that there's a lot of talk about like different types of spirits can pass through a portal. Yeah, sure. Absolutely. You could have good, you could have bad, you could have just passing through, like you could have any of that. And so I think the big thing for them closing it off was that her group specifically felt very uncomfortable in our side of the home, while Charity and I did not.
Yeah.
So, you know, I guess it depends on your experience and what you're taking from it, like where your discomfort level is coming from. For me, you know, a door being ripped out of somebody's hand is a crappy thing to do, but I don't necessarily consider it like a malevolent sort of thing. You're just being a jerk.
No. Yeah, you're just being a jerk. It's a big difference, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of people that are jerks in the living.
Yeah.
Why would they not be jerks in the dead?
Yeah, I mean, if you died angry, why wouldn't you be an asshole when you're dead?
So what do you have? What do you have coming up next?
Oh boy, coming up next. Well, we don't have anything specific planned just yet. We're kind of working on a couple different things. So I got a new little ghost-shaped REM pod because I'm a nerd like that. And so it looks like a ghost and it lights up, and that's fantastic. We'll probably spend some more time in Deadwood. We actually are supposed to work with the individuals that own the Wild Bill Bar.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, the owners of the bar would like us to do some investigation in their theater above the bar. And also to investigate where Wild Bill was shot. So I think that would be a super cool opportunity for us. I do know that we're trying to see how the weather is. South Dakota is tricky. You can't tell what the weather's going to do, and it changes at the last minute during wintertime. But in January, there is an event at an old funeral home that Shane will be at. So it's for all the people that did 28 Days Haunted. And so we're thinking about heading out to that one, or I might be giving it to Charity as a gift and she doesn't know yet. So
well, she does now.
Hopefully she's not watching. If she is,
she's not. She's watching.
And that's just because, you know, she is so fascinated by just all the history on everything. And so for her, any new building or any new place that she can explore and get some historical information from is really exciting for her.
I think that goes hand in hand, you know, the paranormal investigation and the richness of history that comes along with it.
Yep, absolutely.
Right? It's because that way, even if you go to a location and maybe you don't get the haunting you were looking for, you still get to kind of live in that moment.
Correct.
You know, which is really awesome. That's what I like the most.
I think I might try to also get us, so my old apartment building that I lived in downtown Sioux Falls was immensely haunted. Oh. And so at one point, the owner of the apartment complex said she would be super fascinated to see what kind of information I could get from that place.
That'd be dope.
So that might be another really cool space to go. I know that there's a lot of stories about when it was a grocery store, people came in and all of the register tape was on the floor and it had stuff rung up on it and nobody had been in there.
That's cool.
They had a bunch of stuff moved downstairs one time. There's a bunch of storage down there. There are staff that work in certain businesses in the bottom half of that building that absolutely refuse to go to the back half of the building because they're uncomfortable in it. So that would be another really interesting place. And there's a lot in Sioux Falls that people don't realize is there. We would love to investigate the old courthouse museum. that place has so much history to it, and there is so much energy in there. It's not nice energy. It seems very angry, but it's not, malicious.
All right. Well, would you go back to the Fairmont and investigate the Fairmont?
I would go back to the Fairmont because I'm a glutton for punishment and would I'm one of those jerks that wants to challenge the spirit that thought that they could scare the crap out of me. Because it takes a lot for me to be scared, which is funny because growing up as a child with the experiences that I had, I was terrified of them.
Well, I think you set the stage for something different though when you're by yourself and you're a child, or even if you're by yourself and as an adult.
Yep.
When you go and you do these investigations, you're expecting stuff to happen. It's when you're not expecting. We lost her.
Good. There you are.
I heard what you said, Mike.
Where was I at?
Jesus.
I don't know.
I lost it. I lost what I was going to say.
It's lost. But Kim had mentioned, portals are a bit of a gray area for her. And I agree. I think that's the portals. They could be an interesting thing. And I bring this up because Fairmont. There was talk about there being not only one but several portals there at the Fairmont, and that was kind of one of their issues was that they had all these portals, and they could be seen as something where ghosts can come and go and transition as they want. But I guess other more nefarious things can move through them as well, and just different types of energies. When we did the Fairmont, we picked up with our SLS something that definitely was not of a human spirit, so there's a lot of cool things there. But you're right. I think you would have to be a glutton for punishment to go back to the Fairmont for sure.
Well, there's like for the skeptics that haven't seen ghosts or experienced that, like the specific room on the second floor of the Fairmont where they said there was a portal. Whether there was or not, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I can tell you that when you go into it, like it's this icky, heavy, just energized feeling that I can't really put into words other than just that. And it's very, very uncomfortable.
It is. And a lot of times it'll feel like you're walking through cobwebs or that you're like trying to push through a wall. There's a very distinct feeling of when you walk into a space that has what is excess energy, essentially. It's got a lot of electric energy in that particular area because of whatever's going on.
Now, I've heard when you go through like an area where there is a portal, you can smell toast. Is that?
I think that's when you have a stroke.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah,
okay.
I'm pretty sure that's what that is.
Okay.
They're so close together.
Yeah, they're so. The internet. So tell people how they can find you on your social medias.
Sure. So Charity and I are just starting out. We're brand new, so we're babies at this, but we're running headstrong with it because it's fun for us. So you can find us at Gypsy Witch Paranormal on Facebook. We also have an Instagram page. It's GWPSD. And we also have official business cards because I love Charity, and that's just, she went for it.
Nice. Are you on the TikTok?
We don't have anything with TikTok yet.
Okay.
I would be the one that would have to set that up because Charity doesn't do a whole lot with it. And I've just been kind of playing with it on my own with my own account before we get into that. But I think what we've found really kind of interesting about all of this is that, and you guys know this too, and I'm sure, Kim knows this and Scott knows this and Shane knows this and everybody that's in this industry, the paranormal community is such an interesting and intricate community because everybody has different experiences and different experiences that guide their thoughts and views and direction on how they feel about certain things. So, with things like portals where it can be a gray area for some people, it can be 100% somebody believes in that 100% and has an experience for why they believe. Like it's all about collaborating together, because none of us, we're all kind of shooting in the dark, let's be honest.
Yeah.
we don't really have the answers, but that's why we use the equipment we do. That's why we
Definitely.
have the experiences we do to try and get some of those answers, because it is fascinating.
Yeah. And thank you, Annie. Yes, I was at the Washoe Club in Virginia City. I got to do the Estes method, and it was incredibly active. I apparently had a great conversation. I haven't seen the footage yet, but I understand that it was there. It was a pretty wild. It was a pretty wild night. And I will say, after Deadwood and all this stuff, the Washoe Club, and this was on the second day. That was the very first time that I can honestly say I saw a physical something that I could not explain.
Wow.
And it was, I just finished the Estes method. I'd set everything down, and I was just kind of wandering, just trying to walk, because, you know, I'd been sitting for a while. They had me on the Estes. I was probably on there for like, it felt like I was on there for like 20, 30 minutes. It felt like a long time. And so I'm looking down the hallway. Obviously, there's no lights. And I just see something. I can't really say like it had like an actual physical shape to it, but it was just there.
So is this why you were blindfolded?
No, this is after I'd taken everything off. I had walked away. They were still doing a session, and I'm just looking down, and it's just dark, and then all of a sudden the darkness, like, it just kind of moves and shoots around a corner. So I go and I get Kim Horn, and I'm like, hey, I'm a little freaked out because I swear to God I just saw something. So then she grabbed Scott, and then we start moving with the equipment, but like it starts setting off REM pods in other places of the house. Like it's kind of going like this with us.
Wow.
And then, so I never got to see it again. So the strangest thing I was on there for quite a while. You are right, Kim. And then after we leave, everything's all said and done, like 2 a.m, Shane is locking up. It's like Shane, I think Aaron Sagers is still there, and like one other person. And they're locking up, and like Shane, he turns around just to double check. And as he looks, he swears he sees something looking at him from up on the top of the stairs, because it's 2 sets. And he says he could see the eyes, he could see the face, and it looks at him and then looks away. Kind of like thought the coast was clear finally to come out, but it wasn't, because he was still there. So that was pretty wild. And yeah, it was a crazy weekend. Some of her, Kim said some of her other experiences go right in with, Brian had Brian and Charlie, they had some pretty crazy stuff as well that actually involved aliens, of all things. And then Kim Horn and I, at the Knights of Fefefa, which is some type of like Mason place. We had some a really crazy experience there. Not Estes, but like the LED light method with noise, and like there's like EMPs going off. It's pretty wild, but we definitely saw some really interesting things play out that I saw, that I was able to kind of relay, and Kim was really able to kind of verify. And there was definitely things that were not human. They weren't normal. And they're called mind blockers. That's what it was. And that was, and what I had experienced and what she had experienced, really, it validated what happened to Brian too, because there was definitely some type of entities there that weren't supposed to be there. And it was pretty wild, because it really felt like you hear about people saying, you know, don't make a deal with the devil. And that's really what it felt like. It really felt like these Masons had made a deal with the devil, and it tremendously backfired. And that's really what it felt. It was just the wildest part of that night. That was the first night. And the second night was the Washoe Club. What's really interesting though is we went to like multiple other locations those nights, but you're so drained from was so drained from the Washoe Club and so drained from the nights of that like I didn't sense anything else for the rest of the night. Yeah, it was. And you're right. It was a lot like an octopus.
Are you referring to the Knights Templar?
It's the Knights.
Masonic.
Yeah,
Knights Templar.
but it's not Templar. It's Knights of yeah, the Knights of the.
Interesting.
See, Charity and I are sad that we missed that event. That was unfortunate.
Yeah, you would have had an absolute blast. All the people there, like Annie was just fantastic. Kim, Scott, Aaron Sagers was there. It was really cool to get to meet him. Heather Taddy, she was from Paranormal State. She was there. She was just so nice. Tara McLeod and her husband Ryan, they were just so awesome. Everybody, Karen, she has Doof Paranormal in Australia. She was there, and that was super awesome to get to meet people that were there. So I think you would have just had a blast. The people were just incredible. And what was really cool is we got to see this church, the St. Paul Church, only to find out that it's actually they're defunding it completely.
Oh.
So that might have been the last time that the church will be open for business because they're like, what are they called? They're parishers. I don't know. They just only had like a couple of people left, and there was a new bigger church that was built next door. So,
Wow.
yeah, and so it was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun in Virginia City, and the food was amazing. Amazing. I ate fried pickles every day.
Nice.
I did. I don't know why. I had to have them. And I had like we went to like this Mexican restaurant place, and I had like an enchilada, but it was more like an enchilada tostada, if that makes sense. So instead of it like being rolled up, it was like a tortilla, all the stuff, and then a tortilla on top with all the sauces and stuff. So it was like a circle.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was totally weird. I've never eaten anything like that before, but it was delicious. I don't even remember the name of the place. Oh, and then we had the pickleback shots. That's right. I do remember that. What was that? It's Jameson, and then you take a shot of pickle juice.
Oh God.
Yeah, to cut the I guess it's supposed to cut the burn, I guess.
No.
Yeah, but it's funny. I don't even need that because I can just take a shot. I don't care. I could do Everclear if I needed to. It sucked, but I could do it. But it was really cool. It was cool to do that with the pickle juice. We did that. What else did we did? Buttery nipples. That was a lot of fun. Some Four Horsemen. Shane tried to kill me the first night. I mean, this dude went out of his way to murder me. Okay, I was pretty fluffed up, and it's funny because I was up early too. So I'm out early in the hotel, and I'm walking around, and everybody's like, "How are you alive right now?" I'm like, "I'm good." I don't think Shane woke up until like 10, 11 o'clock. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. Yeah, it was. They were actually good. They were actually pretty good. Yep. And yes, Annie, we will all be connected forever. It was an absolute. But and yes, Scott just came out and said Mike's not lying. He did try to kill. He did try to kill. But we did have a lot of fun. So and it was really cool. And they did. We did the Deadwood. There was like a little bit of. They do like a little bit of presentations, like we got to see some stuff from Miranda and whatnot. But this actually had some presentations that were a lot more in depth that were done by both Michelle LeBaron, who she's from Ghost Magnet, I think is what she calls her stuff. She's freaking hilarious, phenomenal. What a great lady. She had an awesome presentation. And Bill. Nope, not Bill. It's coming to Shane. Shane had this great presentation where he talks a lot about, his life and how that really kind of, led to a lot of the experiences that he had in the paranormal field and why he does what he does. So that was really cool to kind of that. And then there was a cool like Q&A panel session with both We got to do it with Aaron, Heather, and Shane, and then Michelle, Janice Oberdeen. I don't know if you've heard of her, but I think she's a Nevadan,
Okay.
and she writes books on like hauntings and paranormal based on the towns. So she's got one on like Goldfield, she's got one on Vegas, she's got one on. So that was really cool to kind of talk to her and kind of pick her brain a little bit. Yeah, Michelle was awesome. If we would, if we would run our Deadwood, right? Yeah, Annie, you do need to get up to Deadwood. Deadwood was amazing, and you can meet Michelle. She's fantastic, and you don't live too far from there. You're in Rapid City.
Sioux Falls.
Oh, Sioux Falls. How far away is that from Deadwood?
We're about probably a 5.5 hour drive, which typically when we go up there, we end up staying a couple days anyway because it just makes it easier.
5.5 hours. Frank was great. Frank, we did have a great time. Frank was in my group, so he knows we got to see some pretty cray stuff up in Virginia City. And then like I said, there was a couple places like the coffee. We went to this coffee house. Not much happened. The firehouse, not much happened at the firehouse for us. And even actually the Washoe Club. So we did the Washoe Club twice, which is the most interesting part of this. The first time we did that Washoe Club, which was the first night, nothing. I don't think anybody got a thing.
Wow.
The second night, dude, that place was lit up. Maybe it was just the energy was different. We had rested. At that, and Shane was there. Anywhere Shane is, man, that place, it's always a party. Shane's great that way.
It can also be that the spirits got to know the people that were in there.
That's true. You know, second night in a row, and they're like, okay, I remember you guys. Let's party. They're like, hey, you're the guy that had a lampshade on his head. I remember you. Yeah. Yeah, but we did have it was a blast. So
It sounds like both of you guys had a lot of fun.
yeah, 1899. She got to experience, she sat in a tub, saw a portal, had a door slam. That's pretty intense.
Heard a violin on the wall get plucked twice.
No way, that's pretty dope.
Interesting.
We also had a Boo Buddy. I hate the talking teddy bear so much. I absolutely despise the talking teddy bear. It makes me uncomfortable. But they had a Boo Buddy that they put in a closet behind me in one of the rooms.
Oh my gosh.
And as we're in dead silence, all of a sudden it goes, haha, you tickled me. Now it's cold. And I was like, nope, I'm not doing the bear. We're not doing the bear.
I'm out. You know what's funny is I accidentally scared somebody in the Knights of there was a bar, and I was kneeling behind the bar, just trying to I just wanted to bring in the vibe, you know what I mean? So I was just trying to get a little bit of not like alone time, but just kind of just to be separate because there's a lot going on in that. And I don't know if it was Frank or if it was Ryan, but somebody walked up Pythias. That's it. It's Pythias. Thanks, Scott. Knights of Pythias. I don't know why I can't remember.
I had to look it up. It still didn't show.
No. Yeah, Knights of Pythias. I was close with he didn't see me down there, and he shined the light right on me. He still didn't see me. And it took I would say another 2 seconds to register that I was there. And he goes, ah! You know that. I was like, my bad. And then I got Kim. I got Kim in the Washoe Club. So it's just so there's a room and a hallway, and they went down the hallway, and I went through the room, and it all leads to another room. So I mean, we're just kind of walking, just kind of parallel, but I'm just a quiet walk. I'm just a quiet person in general. So, well, at least when I'm not talking, I should say. And then they come around the corner right as I come around the corner, and I just scared the living bejesus out of her. And she's like, you know. Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah, I'm a little creeper. That's
So what's next for
Yeah.
you?
So I think the next thing for me is there is a another Paracon coming up on January 27th in Schertz, Texas, and which is in Austin, I believe, near Austin. So Trevor says you are not a quiet person. That's true. I'm not. So we're looking to sponsor that. I did keep the comedy going though. That's true. And Kim says, "Damn straight," but she didn't pee herself. And she didn't run, which is good. But you did jump, yes. Yes, Marilyn says her neck of the woods. We will be going to that'll be Schertz, January 27th. So that'll be my next Paracon. So and I'm always working on things. I got some great things in the fire, especially with Marilyn. And we're working on San Antonio. I said Austin, San Antonio. I think that's going to be our next big thing. Right now, for me, the big thing is trying to sell my home. I'm trying to sell my home. Hopefully, these people buy my freaking house, man, so I can move and be done with all this balonius. I'm literally living out of like suitcases right now. I have an inflatable couch, everyone. I am living on an inflatable couch. Do you know what it's like to have to air up your furniture every night?
No.
Oh my God. It's weird. That's all I can say. It's weird. And I don't like it. So, Michelle, we will let you go. Thank you so much for coming on, talking about your experiences with 1899. And obviously, you're growing both as a person and as a psychic.
Yeah, little intimidating, but yeah.
But exciting nonetheless.
Yeah. If I could give you some advice, that would be it.
You just hung up on her.
I have no advice to give. Okay, I know nothing. You'd be getting advice from the absolute wrong person. I'm just going to tell you that right now. Guys, gals, thank you so much for tuning in. That is going to be our show for the evening. Thank you so much for tuning in. I think next week is the holidays, so we may wind up taking a few weeks off to get through the holidays. And I think you've got your brother coming into town, so we may wind up taking a couple of weeks off. But I will still continue to post content both on Instagram and Facebook. But also, please, please, please follow on TikTok. I am on TikTok right now, 2.clueless.dudes. Please go ahead and give us a follow because I always post all of my content there first, and then I post it to the gram and to the fake book. But if you want to see it first before anything else, hop on TikTok. It's also where I can post larger 10-minute videos, so you can get to see more of my beautiful mug. It was great. Thank you, Scott. It was good talking to everybody. Thanks for entertaining the ghosts. You got it, Frank. See you later, Annie. Love, peace.
Have a good one. Be safe.